A very good evening to all our viewers, and thank you for joining us again on this Sunday evening. My name is Toiwan Jabela, your host, and tonight we are taking the show a step further. I'm extremely privileged and honored to have two extraordinary men on the show in the persons of John Matsi on my right-hand side and Edward Elifas. They are men who are punching above their weight despite challenges of being visually impaired. I've known them for so many years, 20 years for Elifas here and 19 years for John. And today is such a surreal moment that we are seated together in this studio 2 decades later. John, thank you for making time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Edward.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, my
The pleasure
friend.
is always
Always
mine.
No, definitely. So let's start with Elifas. Give us a bit of your background, where you come from and where you grew up and stuff like that.
Well, I'm a village boy, actually.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking about being a village boy, I look back and look at a village called Elifas in Ongajera. It's far away from here.
Yes.
But that is where I came from. And, well, I grew up there and then moved to Ongwediva. Of course, a lower special school. And then moved to Gabriel Tapopi for my secondary school.
Yeah.
Before reaching then the University of Namibia. And today we are here.
Wonderful. Matsi, your bit of background?
Yeah, thank you, Toivo. My background, I hailed from a small village in Oshkoto region called Ontananga.
Yeah.
Having developed or acquired visual impairment at a tender age, I stayed home. I saw my homemates, my age mates, in fact, going to school.
Yeah.
I stayed behind home because simply I couldn't attend the mainstream school.
Yeah.
So at a later age, I was enrolled at a lower special school in Ongwediva. I hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Proceeded to Gabriel Tapopi, and then after matriculation, I proceeded to UNAM.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history. Here I am.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you guys recall how you met? Because you are not just on the set tonight by coincidence. You are also good friends. How did you guys meet? Edward, do you remember?
Well, you know, sometimes it's, you wouldn't know what happens, right?
Yeah.
We met long time at a lower special school.
Yeah.
That is where we were.
Yeah.
And then we then been together at Gabriel Tapopi.
Yeah.
And then again, it's not a coincidence to say that we've also been together at the University of Namibia.
Yeah.
But for all this, I cannot really say, okay, this is the specific date we met.
Of course.
But hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. John, you don't remember also, do you share the same sentiments? Or what is your recollection of how somehow you came across Edward?
Now, all I also recall is that we were both enrolled in a lower special school the same year, 1991. Yeah. And then he was a grade in front of me.
Yes.
And that's how I kept trailing him until the university.
Yeah.
When he came to Gabriel Tapopi, same year with you,
Yes.
I caught up with you guys the following year.
Yes.
So then I did the same at you now. So that's all I can also recall.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I met Edward in 2001 at Gabriel Tapopi.
Yeah.
I was in grade 11B. He was in 11C.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just strange because, I mean, for me, it was the first time ever that I've seen a visually impaired person actually attending school, which perhaps says a lot also about our country to say how much are we doing for people like yourselves. But we'll touch on that later. Edward, in what kind of family setup did you grow up? Is there a well-off family? Is it just give me a sense of how your family looked like.
Okay. Well, I actually did not grow up in a well-off sort of family, so to say. But we lived by what we have, actually.
Yes.
So that was more than enough for us. And it was also more than enough to take me to a lower special school.
Yeah.
But that has also been the source of my inspiration, because sometimes you expect to be inspired by the very best.
Yes.
But I actually have been my inspiration came from probably my family, which was probably which I think, and I thought at that moment, needed me most, and also the community, what was happening in the community by then. Yeah.
John, I think you came once to the evening review, and you gave me a sense of your family setup.
Yeah.
Give me a sense of Elua special school. Is it in your particular case? Who was responsible for your well-being there in terms of your school fees and stuff like that? Is there you were on some sort of scholarship as a child, or on a government scheme, or was it your family?
Yeah, let me just briefly also give
please.
an overview of the home setup where I came from.
Yes, important.
I just grew up in a typical extended family, subsistence farming, looking after cattle with my homemates, cultivating the soil. And one thing I appreciate from my family is that I was never treated special despite visual impairment. When the boys are going to look after cattle, I have to come with. And if we have to go fetch water, I shouldn't stay behind simply because I can't see. And that really taught me a lot in life, that I shouldn't, although I have a special condition, I shouldn't necessarily expect to be treated special. So coming at Elua, because it's a school that admits young kids, it was really kind of a family caring sort of environment whereby you got matrons looking after kids, waking them up every morning to go take a shower, look after them when they are eating in the kitchen, look after them playing, that they are safe. So that's the environment. But as you grow up, you get more independent and you need less care from the matrons and teachers. Yeah.
But again, who is it your family that was responsible for taking you there and taking care of your needs while you were there?
Exactly. So every holiday, my family come get me. When school starts, they take me back to school. So it was sort of a relationship or operation. Yeah.
Edward, you John just spoke about not being treated special, and I'm sure in your particular case it must have been the same in many ways. A lot of people that find themselves in a situation like yours would probably want to be treated special. Of course, there are mandatory special treatment as they relate directly to your condition. But in terms of duties and responsibilities, some would want to be spared from some of those things. How did you navigate your way to where you are today on your own, of course with assistance, but you had that determination, as opposed to anyone who would have said, look, I can't see. I can't go to school. What am I going to do at school if I cannot even see?
Well, we are trying to create what we call an unfair advantage, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And also a disadvantage for ourselves.
Yeah.
So many times that if you find yourself in a situation where you think, okay, you would want to use your disability. For instance, you think, okay, today I want people to have a little bit of pity, and then so I start applying certain tactics that would make them feel, okay, this person cannot do A, B, C D because of the disability. The next thing that the only thing that you're sending out is a wrong signal, because people would take it like that. Yeah. The next person would think, okay, we had another person like this somewhere, and they cannot do A, B, C, D. When you come there, for instance, you're looking for employment, people think, they cannot work. I've already been with somebody like them, and this person indicated that it wasn't possible. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, for me, it was easy to do what I wanted, because in the first place, I did not treat myself special, because I'm not special. And also, I did not even think about my disability. Probably the only time I probably would hear of the word visual impairment is when I probably use maybe a talking phone, or maybe I hear or I read something written in Braille. Yes. That's when I realize I'm visually impaired. So it was easy to go, because then I felt I am like any other person out there, and I should do things in the same manner. Yeah.
Indeed. Gentlemen, we go for a quick break, and then we return.
Okay.
Go far with Paratus. Go further with Paratus Fiber. Paratus, offering high-speed, reliable fiber connectivity, starting from only 599 Namibian dollars per month. Unlimit your lifestyle and visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details, and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neopaints, a coat of excellence.
We continue our inspirational story with Edward and John. John, I think our viewers now at this point will be interested in, okay, you went to Elua, you went to Gabriel Tapapi, you went to university. Afterwards, what happened? What do are you employed? Do you have a job? Are you how do you call it? The breadwinner of some sort?
Yeah, that's another area.
Yeah.
On its own.
Yeah.
Now, life after school.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's when now you get to be always reminded of the condition you find yourself in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I was fortunate enough. I've gotten a job.
Yeah.
In the government. I'm making a living.
Yeah.
And supporting my family like anyone else.
Yeah.
However, let me start that at the university, I studied industrial psychology.
Yes.
And then later on, I went back and enrolled for a master in gender. So I possess a master in gender as well as a degree in psychology.
Yeah.
So that profile on its own for someone with no disability, I don't know where that person would be by now.
Yeah, yeah.
In contrast with where I am.
Yeah,
So
you would
that's
you would have been president of the country by now.
Oh, me, or what? No, at least fair enough, let's say perhaps ahead of any institution. So,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So, but unfortunately, that's a situation, harsh reality we find in ourselves.
Yes.
Being with a disability, people doubt you,
Yeah.
people judge you, you keep on proving, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah,
maybe it's something you have to live with for the rest of your life.
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a bit sad.
I'm a low rank official in the government.
Yeah, okay.
Despite what I just said.
Yeah, no, I get you. Eddie, do you mind sharing with us what you do right now? Or
Well,
what you did after university?
well, I do mind sharing with you
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
because it's my secret.
Your secret. I hear
Yeah.
you.
Well, I'm also working
Yes.
for the government.
Okay,
I'm working for the Department of Disability Affairs,
okay.
but I'm based in Commerce region. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm also a breadwinner.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. You worked for the Minister of Works at some stage, is that it?
Well, yeah, that was
Right after university?
yeah, that was when I left the university. The Minister of Works and Transport took me,
Yeah,
and I appreciate them
yeah.
for what they did, because they opened at least the door for me to then get to the Minister of the Department of Disability Affairs.
Indeed. Edward, still with you. Give me a sense of, I think John alluded to it a little bit, but I'll still go back to him for details. How was it for you? How was it like for you to land your first job? What kind of hurdles did you have to go through in order to secure your first or even your current job?
Well, in the world where we live, actually, as people with disability, as a person with disability, you'd have to probably struggle for anything that you get. There isn't anything easy for you. I always love to mention that you go to the same institution like any other person out there, but the treatment when it comes to employment becomes different.
Yeah.
You probably be considered as, but how is, there are things, there are questions that people have.
Yeah.
And these are assumptions,
Yeah.
right? And, sorry, I hated to say that you assume while you have the person in front of you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you would want, or you would like to know if the person can or cannot,
Yeah. Yeah.
the person is right there with you. But you go out there and say, no, I don't think this person can do A, B, C, D.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I've heard that these people don't do these things and that. Or I heard that these people, the things that they use are expensive. This kind of reasoning, it's probably something that is killing, and it's hurting people with disability and people with visual impairment.
John, you just alluded to earlier that you have a postgraduate qualification, a master's degree in fact, but contrary to that, you said you are occupying a very basic position in government. Is that due to just perceptions and of your condition by those who are supposed to make your life a bit easier, or is it that they have perhaps seen your work and say, but John, this is really all that you can do for now?
Yeah, this is quite down to multiple factors.
Yeah.
Although, Toivo, you remember, at the end of every job advertisement you see, there's a short slogan there.
Yeah.
Persons with disabilities. No, in fact, it goes, women and persons with disabilities are encouraged to apply.
Yes.
If you are qualified, of course. I agree with that. So you do submit, but with no response in most cases. And in rare cases whereby you are responded to, you hardly know what happened somewhere, so you end up get lost in the corner. So where I work, I've proven myself competently. No one would disagree with that. But still, the world out there will still judge you or will still doubt you. Yes, unfortunately.
So you feel do you feel misunderstood as a person to say, look, you know yourself what you're capable of doing, but there's a world out there that doesn't seem to think that you're actually able to do what you do.
Exactly. You see, disability is quite a broad concept. Some are physical disabled, some are hearing impairment, some are visual like ourselves. So, but when you dissect and see which sort of disability is really lowly represented when it comes to employment, it's especially or it's largely visual impairment. I challenge any institution that employs more than 2 visual impairments in this country. If there is any, I doubt it. More than 2. So most of them have 0, 1, 0, 1. And the only ministry whereby you find more persons with visual impairment, it's only in education, because those who are teaching. Any other area, people are doubting, should we really take them on board? Are they really going to perform? Although they have qualifications. Now one wonders how one can possess a qualification but will not be able to work. Because we go through the same teaching programs. You are a testimony to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, at UNAM, at Gabriel Tapopi, Elifas and I wrote the exact same paper for our final exams. And then we went to university together in 2003. And we were not doing the same course, but we attended some classes, I think psychology and sociology classes together, some of them. And we sat in the same lecture hall. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Eddie, so I have there's a family in my village that has children. Almost every child born in that house has a speech and hearing impairment. And these children went to the same local school as myself in the village, subjected to the same teaching methods as myself. They can't hear. When a teacher is speaking, they couldn't hear anything. When they are being asked a question and they're answering, the teacher couldn't make out what they were saying. And we didn't understand it back then as children. But today when you look at it in hindsight, you realize just how neglected this family is and how the children could have actually made it in life eventually to do something for themselves.
Definitely.
Are we having enough, the support system, especially the institutional support system, be it by the schools or by government itself, to say, look, anybody with this kind of disabilities, maybe they will become a government responsibility with the involvement of their families, of course, but we as government will be the main carrier of them going forward. Do we have anything like that at all, or do we need something like that?
Okay. Well, sometimes when I hear the word government, it looks so broad.
Yeah.
Because somebody once upon a time said, the government is you. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And in most cases, it's true, because you are the one to implement the programs in place. What happens is the support system. First of all, you're even lucky to have the family deciding to take their children to school with that type of disability. Because in most cases, you'd find people at home or kept or hidden.
Yeah.
And if then you are lucky, then you take them to school. Again, there is discrimination out there. I'm happy that we have what we call inclusive education as a policy. Of course, it is a policy that is there. And again, the implementation comes in. Because you also want, because for instance, if I were to go to Okalongo today,
Yes.
and there is inclusive education being practiced,
Yeah.
I can just go there and be enrolled, no problem, right? But then it cannot be done. Do you know why? Because in the first place, the teachers don't understand, most of them don't understand a thing about people with disability or certain types of disabilities.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you have somebody with speech impairment, the person does not know what to do, how to help this person. They were not trained to do this,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I think there is still a lot to be done, and a lot can still be done for different types of disabilities. Because when we look at disability or the concept, we may just think, okay, if I have a person with physical disability, then that is disability. But even them, those, for instance, let's say a person in a wheelchair, you cannot find many schools that are accessible to them, right?
Exactly.
And you want these people to go to school. Do you carry them to classes, and whose responsibility would that be? So it's not an easy thing, but it is something that probably or gradually might be changing, or maybe come 2050, maybe there will be a lot might have happened, but for now, we are still trying.
Yeah, sure. John, before we go for another break, give me a sense of whether there are any incentives out there for people like the ones that are just the scenario that we have in my village there, to say, okay, we have these policies, and some people say we have good policies as far as disability is concerned, but do we have specific incentives for people to say, maybe, I don't know, whether it's a grant per month or whatever, to assist these people to really develop themselves in life?
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. At least when our government, one of the commendable programs they have in place is to include persons with disabilities into the social grant, the same one they give to persons with old age. Yeah, at least that grant is really doing a tremendous job to sustain our people who's supposed to be languishing into poverty. You know, this is the community which is largely unemployed.
Yes.
Some are unemployable because, like the ones you referred to, they haven't really gone far into school.
Yes.
So it will be hard to employ them. And those ones now who are skilled, but the world out there is harsh or hostile towards them, cannot absorb them. So in that situation, this grant is sustaining them, although is not sufficient. At least it's keeping them going. Yeah.
Indeed. Another break, and then we return for the last stretch of the show.
Great.
We continue our conversation. So, Eddie, I just want you to, okay, so during the break you just said there's a fund also, that maybe if you can explain a bit on that.
Okay. What happens is the Office of Disability Affairs, where I work, through NASTAF, they have a fund, a grant, so to say, helping persons with disabilities who are enrolled in accredited institutions.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you are at the University of Namibia and you are a person with disability and you are studying, so you can be assisted. So that is also a very, very, very good initiative, and also a commendable effort by the government through the Department of Disability Affairs.
Tell me now, Eddie, against that background, we have all these nice funding facilities in place. We have this inclusive policy documents. I go back to the situation in my village. You went to Elua in Ongwediva. It's a good special school, tailor-made. It's in an urban setting. There are families that cannot send their children to Ongwediva. They just want their son to school at a Poko combined school where I attended my school. But I've never seen a teacher there that can possibly teach a person like yourself or the boys from my village that I spoke about. How representative are all these nice things? Are they spread out enough?
Okay, I was fortunate enough to attend a workshop that was in Singapore, and it was on technology and other things, of which one of them was inclusive education. And I was surprised because there are many things that we are probably doing here that they are not doing over there. And they are also saying, no, we are still trying to implement the inclusive education policy. I'm looking at it and I said, okay, we are probably not the only one, but still coming to that. It's a policy that needs implementation. It's a policy that needs a little bit of planning, right?
Yeah.
And also, for you to implement, I think even the curriculum at different levels must also include certain aspects of disability. I'm just thinking that if you teach people about disability or certain aspects of disability or how to work with certain types of disabilities, then at least they will help these kids or they will help these persons who are coming to their institutions because you know, when you're educating,
Yeah.
you're planting a seed. And that seed will not only be there in that institution where you planted it,
Yeah, yeah.
but is a seed that spreads.
Yes.
So you'd want then that knowledge that you've imparted on certain individuals that you taught, then to spread across different schools within the country.
Yeah.
That this will aid in the process of inclusive education. But at the moment, it is very tricky. It is very tricky because not many have that background when it comes to persons with disability. Because I remember so many times, even if you're doing something that looks so simple,
Yeah.
somebody would look at you puzzled. There's really like, okay, this is something so big, but to you it's just normal, small. Yeah.
Indeed. John, a child, a visually impaired child or hearing or speech impaired child in Ontananga, how do we help that child without having to send him to urban centers? Just, I want to live in my village, my grandmother lives here, I'm visually impaired, and I want to thrive in life.
Yeah, I understand at least now the education curriculum has introduced inclusive education.
Yeah.
So I understand, or I assume, all teachers now produced by the system are somehow equipped with how to deal with learners with special needs. So this is a good step in a good direction.
Yeah.
Perhaps one would be able now to attend school from her or his home. Unlike us, those days we had to leave the comfort of our families and exiled somewhere in Ongwediva,
Yeah, yeah.
more than 40 kilometers away. So, yeah, I don't know how successful it is, but if it is well implemented, I think it will be a good something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. John, what are your life goals today? You have achieved so much under very trying circumstances. What are your ambitions in life right now?
Yeah, no, thank you, Trevor, for the question. I never write myself off, and I never expect anything to come easy for me until thus far where I am.
Yeah.
So I really have big dreams, whereby I envision to make a meaningful contribution in our country.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to be done, especially with regard to disability and all in general. So my vision per se, I'm not really having something specific, but I'm now possessed with vast knowledge, gender skills, in terms of gender, in terms of administration, with regard, especially acquired from my current job. So only time will tell where I will be heading to, should opportunities fall into place.
Yes.
But one thing I would love to urge my fellow countrymen is that our country has got very good policies. So the persons entrusted with those policies should just implement the policies.
Yeah.
And then we would achieve an equitable nation.
Indeed.
Yeah. Other than having a country which is having some doing well and then others are lagging behind, simply because policies are not fairly implemented.
We must be our brother's keepers. Edward, what do you still want to achieve, having been hugely successful already in your life?
You know, one achievement I couldn't, or probably would have loved to, was to play football. But anyways, so many things that where I start. I would love to start off like You know, I've received a lot, and that is being from my previous schools,
Yeah.
from the community out there. It's time to give back.
Yes.
It's time to give back, and whichever way, I would love to be involved in the community and help where I can. That is one thing. And the other part, I love technology. I should tell you that. And I wish one day I do something on technology, especially software.
Yeah.
Maybe develop a software that helps persons with visual impairment, or aid in the development of a software that helps person with a visual impairment and other persons with disabilities. That would really be a nice thing for me to achieve.
Indeed. Now, in closure, gentlemen, football this weekend. Edward, last time I checked, he was with Newcastle United. Are you still there, or did you jump ship?
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home.
Yes.
You are playing Leicester away this weekend.
Yeah.
What do you expect? You guys have been, you've been just been bought by, is it a Saudi?
PIF, yeah.
Yeah, some Asian rich people have bought your club, but you only recorded last weekend or so, your first win ever of the season. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what is going to happen this weekend on the way forward?
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
The last time we played at King's Power Stadium,
Yeah.
we won 4-3. So the possibility of that happening again is very high.
Especially now that Leicester are not doing
They're not
particularly
doing well. Yeah, they're not doing well. So we're in the same boat.
in the same boat. John, Man U versus we are playing Norwich this weekend. What do you expect? We have a new manager at Man U. We have the hype. There's a good hype now, a good feeling going on at the club. What do you expect?
Oh, a quick snap at my previous question.
Yes.
Oh, I have a passion with academic.
Okay.
So at times I always foresee myself in an academic institution,
Okay.
helping out with research, with understanding of this and that. So that's one of the areas
Wonderful.
I envision myself. But back to football.
Yes.
Now, at least finally, Toivo,
Yeah.
that guy Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a time I really wish evil for my team.
Yeah.
Every time we play, I just wish, can we just lose? So perhaps
So that the man can just
they fire this man. Finally, my prayer was heard.
yeah.
So at least with the new men in place,
Yeah.
and I understand there is a very much respected man.
Yes.
I think the player's spirit is high, and with Norwich, I foresee just a walk in the park.
Work in the back.
You struggled with the young boys yesterday.
Yeah, the young boys, they're playing. The young boys of Switzerland were playing the young boys of Man U. So
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of academic or reserve boys there that played.
Indeed.
Yeah, but yeah, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. I think you have continued to inspire people using this platform tonight, and we can only wish you really the best. Please, this is your show. Feel free to come back anytime whenever you have something to share with the nation. But otherwise, I'm so grateful to link up with my friends that I've met for the first time more than 2 decades ago. So it's really, really a very symbolic moment for me to be here with you tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Keep
Yeah.
up a good job, Toivo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Keep it up, man.
Yeah, wonderful.
Good.
Great.
So that is John Matsi and Edward Elifas on the show tonight. Thank you for watching and good night.
Unlock catching with Katiti. For only 3,699 Namibian dollars once off, you can make extra catching with the Paratus Katiti touch screen device. And commission on reselling of electricity, water, DSTV subscriptions, and recharge vouchers from the palm of your hand. You can't afford not to unlimit your business potential with Katiti.
Get your Katiti device today and go further with Paratus. Visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Oh.